that is where I realized I used this method a ton, and I wasn't even realizing that I was using it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Christina. If you clicked on today's video, then you are interested in having the best academic year possible. So you're going to get a variety of tips and tricks that work best for you. The most important thing that I have grabbed from this journey of mine is you need to understand your brain. You need to learn what works best for you. For myself specifically, I started paying attention to my brain instead of forcing it to do something that I did not want to do. Now, hear me out. I am somebody who I can set a time and say, I'm gonna go study or I'm gonna go get work done at 9 in the morning tomorrow. That's not really ideal, and I would force myself to go, and my brain would say, no, absolutely not. This is not what we're doing. I'm not gonna grab any of this. Then I realized I would get this little energy burst, or it felt like an energy burst, kind of towards 10 a.m., sometimes at 2 p.m., sometimes at 5 p.m. And that is when I started realizing I need to work with when my brain is available, because I do struggle with that. I do struggle with staying on task, staying focused. So for me, the best thing I could possibly do for myself is work with the times that I know my brain is willing and able to grab information. So for me, every day, unfortunately, would look a little bit different. And now I'm so used to that routine, and it's kind of like a crazy routine, I know, but I'm so used to doing that I don't struggle when it's time for me to sit down and lock in. Like, it's something that my brain and I kind of just, and so that's something that's really important to keep in mind with yourself, is your brain has a mind of its own. Literally. I think you need to work with when it wants to do this stuff. The reason I feel comfortable telling you guys this or giving these tips is because I applied these to myself. When I started applying this method or these tips and tricks to myself was my last year of undergrad. I did successfully finish that academic year the way I wanted to. Now I have that method installed in me, and I went ahead and continued my education. So now I'm pursuing my master's and my credentials in education, and I'm still working with the methods. All I'm doing is improving it. And I managed to get straight A's for my first technically semester in my master/credentials program. So that is amazing. That was kind of like unreal for me. I never in a million years thought that I could get that kind of success academically. And my sister-in-law's tips and tricks on hers, she is a business major. So that brings us to tip number 1, which is put your assignments or your to-dos where you're going to see them. I use a planner, but I'm not 100% successful with a planner. I'm well aware of that. And so I stopped relying on just my planner. So what I ended up doing is downloading an app for my phone so I can view it as soon as I hit the home screen. When I unlock my phone, all my stuff that I have to do is right there in the home screen. Now, if you are like my sister-in-law, you are a procrastinator. I am also a procrastinator, but her tip for procrastination is to mark the assignment a day before. That way you're not doing it last minute. Now, I think that is a really great way to kind of trick your brain. Another thing that me and my sister-in-law adopted were sticky notes on the laptop. Now, if you're not familiar with this, this is an app for your laptop where you can place these on your home screen, and she uses it as a great way to pinpoint main ideas and then kind of add to it throughout the day or whatever assignment she's working on. I use it for that same exact reason. If the teacher is saying something, I quickly add it to that notes. It's nice to have it right there available on your laptop, so that way if you need to type something down, it's immediately right there on your home screen. Another tip, if you are in class and you get distracted very easily, or you find yourself scrolling on your phone, not paying attention to the lesson, my sister-in-law's tip is to sit in the front because it helps her not be on her phone, not check her watch, not check her laptop. It kind of gives you that pressure that the teacher is watching you, so you obviously don't want to be rude and be on your phone while that teacher is talking. I don't sit right in the front row, but I do like to sit near the professors because I also feel like that little bit of pressure of I can't be on my phone, I don't want to be disrespectful, I don't want to be rude. So that is a very helpful tip if you get distracted easily in class. Now, working on assignments or studying, I like to use a Pomodoro timer. I actually use that timer for everything: studying, homework, cleaning. I use that for everything. That is my saving grace. Maybe give that a try. The beautiful thing about these timers is that they are flexible. You have 30 minutes on, 5 minutes of a brain break, and then 30 minutes on 4 times, right? And then I obviously just replay it if I need to. But that is a great way to kind of give your brain a break for a second. And yes, those 5 minutes go by a little too fast sometimes, but your brain will feel refreshed by the end of it. And that's kind of the purpose of it. Make sure you are in an environment that works best for you. If you are somebody who thrives in a coffee shop where it's loud and busy and you can just plug in and zone in, that is something that you should probably aim for. If you are somebody who needs absolute quiet, the school library would probably be the best bet for you. For me, it all depends. For the most part, I can get work done here in my office. But if I feel like the house is a little too chaotic, or if my husband is bugging me a little too much, then I go ahead and make my way over to either the Cal State Library here, or I go to Barnes & Noble. Either way, I kind of worked with myself to where I have noise canceling headphones, and if I feel like I'm a little too amped up, or if I feel like I have too much energy, I won't go to Barnes & Noble, because seeing all these people walk, I'm a huge people watcher, so I will be like this, but then also like, and I'll get distracted way too easily. So I think that's also something to keep into consideration is, are you gonna get distracted? Don't put yourself in an environment where you're gonna get distracted. Another tip and trick, if you are in a field where you have to memorize this information, I want to say like nursing. If you are in nursing or in a science field or history, just something where you are going to have to apply that information, there is a specific method that I recommend. That is where I realized I used this method a ton, and I wasn't even realizing that I was using it. So for this tip and this technique, I noticed that this is the one I was using. It's called the Feynman technique. I hope I'm saying it correctly. But basically it's a 4-step technique process where it helps you grasp, understand, and just deepen your knowledge of the topic that you're trying to get familiar with. So basically step 1 is choosing the topic or subject, which it's what you're studying or trying to learn. And then step 2, you take notes, right? You're taking notes. That's simple enough. We do that on a daily basis. Then after that, you're going to review what you just wrote down, and you are going to talk about it. So you're gonna basically tell somebody what you just learned. And after you've done that, you are going to then teach it. But before you teach it, you are going to simplify what you just read, what you just took down, right? You're going to simplify it in terms where you and the person you are telling is going to basically get, or the general consensus of what you are trying to explain. And I catch my sister-in-law sometimes pause in between our breaks and repeat what she just found interesting about what she just learned. And now that kind of just stayed stuck in her head, and same with me. That stays stuck in my head. Another tip too is on the iPad, if you have an iPad, there is an app called GoodNotes. I think GoodNotes would work perfectly for you if you are somebody that needs pictures and have detailed information that you need to know. So now the great thing about GoodNotes is you can add images to your notes and draw on them. I've seen this a lot with students who have to work with human anatomy, and they have to learn the difference between that. It's really, really helpful to have a visual image. That way I don't get confused too. So GoodNotes is another app that I would highly, highly recommend if you have an iPad. You don't need the Apple Pen, honestly. I lost mine. I know. And I had to get, like, I got a cheapy one from Amazon. I think it was only like $10 and it works just fine. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have other tips and tricks that you personally use that help you, please comment them down below. That way people can see and, you know, we can all help each other. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video.